welcome to another episode of I Take
D.
I'm Joel.
I'm Carla.
And this is a ministry that we started about a year ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
And today's topic is going to be the art of compromising.
Yes.
So we want to share with you, again, we're not experts. This is just experiences from our own marriage, and we just thought that we share with you because what we find out is that a lot of times we go through things thinking that we're the only ones in the world going through this and how frustrating it is. And then we realize other couples go through the same thing. We just never talk about them.
That's right.
So this is a perfect opportunity. Welcome to I Take D Ministry Facebook page. We want to tell you of a new feature. We have all our videos on a YouTube,
channel. Yes, we're on YouTube now.
We're moving up in the world, you know. And that's very exciting because you get to search for us on YouTube. On Facebook, you really can't do that. So look for us on YouTube, but also if it's easier, just follow us on Facebook.
And we also hear that a lot of couples and a lot of people are not in social media, so now you can find us on YouTube.
Yeah, that's right. All right, so art of compromising. I want to share a scripture very quick. Ephesians 5:25 says, "Husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her." Ouch.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that's a tough one. You know, Jesus definitely loved the church, and here Paul is saying, "Hey, men, love your wife like Christ loves the church," and that's pretty hard. You know, the first thing that comes to mind, you might be thinking, and I was thinking, what does that have to do with compromising and the art of compromising? And what I realized is that compromising is also a sacrifice.
It is a sacrifice because now you're going to have to make some decisions that no longer are you. And sometimes you're going to have to, you're going to think you're going to lose, but in reality, you're both winning.
Yeah. That's a very interesting concept. You know, a lot of times we go in, you know, we can be very competitive, right? And we go into marriage sometimes with that mentality already. Like, you know, we do it when there's an argument. Mm-hmm. Somebody wants to win the argument. Mm-hmm. Somebody wants to be the last one to have the last word. It happens in so many settings, not just in marriage. It can happen with parenthood. It happens at work, with co-workers, with friends. Somebody always wants to be the winner. And in marriage, it's not about a winner.
It's not. And you know, and I want to share with all couples who are listening to this video is I want to give you 7 steps, right? To help. So how do I begin compromising with my spouse? Mm-hmm. So I want to say, 1, communicate with your needs and wants to your spouse. It's important to communicate those needs and wants from your perspective to your spouse. 2, listen to your spouse or wife. Is so important in listening. Now you're sharing your needs and wants, but you're also taking a step back, being quiet, and also listening. Carefully weigh the options, right? Just because I give you a perspective of what I want and what I need, we have to be careful and weigh those options, right? And then the next one is put yourself in your spouse's shoes, right?
That's hard.
Now I know you're probably going back and forth into whatever you're trying to compromise, but please put yourself in your spouse's shoes at that particular moment. Another one is consider fairness, right? Now that you're talking about all these things, now what's fair? What is really fair? And make a decision, right? And now this is the important thing, stick to it. You have to make that decision and stick to it. Not go back and say, well, you know, maybe my idea was better. No.
Yeah, that's hard.
If you make a decision in a relationship as a husband and wife, you stick with it. And lastly, check in with each other. So now you made this decision, you're sticking with it, but check in with each other on where you both are in that decision making.
Yeah, that's, you know, you touch a really good point. Whereas once you compromise, because compromising, you've both given up a little bit and you're both gaining something. You know, it's a true essence of letting go of the me and really being part of the us, right?
Yes.
You're letting go of like your own selfish wants and just bringing in what is the best outcome for both of us. And one of the things that we normally make a mistake on as couples is that we compromise, but then if something goes wrong, we want to blame the other, saying, see, I compromised about this, and look where it ended up. So we can't do that, because that damages that opportunity to compromise. When you compromise, you're making a decision together, and if it goes wrong, it went wrong for both. And if it goes right, then you both celebrate that it went right. So don't, if it goes wrong, don't use it as a I told you so to the other person.
That's why it's so important that one of the steps that I mentioned is checking in with each other, because it could happen that we compromise on a decision together and we're sticking with it, but perhaps in the long run it's not working out. So I'm not going to tell my husband Joel, I said, you know what, it didn't work out, we're going to plan B. No, we're going to check in with each other. Okay, this is what we decided together. We are sticking with this decision, but could we be able to work on it in some other way? Yeah. Could it be another compromise to changing that decision, but you're making it together? So the checking in with each other is to see where we both are. Are we on the same page? Or maybe we should take another route. But if you don't check in with that person, you can't automatically think that, it's not working for you, but it probably is working for your spouse.
Yeah, I mean, I can think of a funny compromise we had. Many of you who know our home dynamics, you guys know that we have, so I'm like the only guy in the house, but technically I'm not. We have a dog, he's a male, and for those who know him, his name is Jordan, and he's the baby of the house. He's just the dog we have. We love him. He's part of the family. Those who have dogs or pets, you understand where I'm coming from. It's about, they become part of the family. And Jordan, the way he came to our home was through a compromise. So when Carla and I got married, I wanted a big dog. I wanted I wanted a big dog. And Carla was like, I don't want no dogs. And we went back and forth. I try to bring all the positive outcomes of having a dog, and she's like, nope, I don't want animals in my house. And then at the end, what we were able to compromise on was, you know what? You can't have your big dog, and she can have no dog. Let's get a little dog. So Jordan is our little fuzzball, because he's just a little thing that goes around, and it worked out for us. I mean, at the beginning, he was chewing on furniture and stuff, and we got frustrated. But the beautiful part about it is that Carla never threw that back in my face. I told you I didn't want a dog. No. Once we compromised, we made a decision together. She had to make some sacrifices by technically from no dog to a dog. I had to make sacrifices from technically big dog to small dog, and we just came somewhere in the middle. That's it. Again, that was a sacrifice we made. So compromising is about sacrificing, and we call it art of compromising because it really takes innovative ways.
It's a masterpiece. It's like, a painting. There's some areas that you're probably going to go back and touch on because they're not, the color or the paint didn't go so well. So, that's what we're calling the arts of compromise, because you're both creating art together.
I never thought about it that way.
Creating the art together. You're both putting, the
better than
brush,
Picasso.
and you're putting the things that work out for you, because at the end, all you're going to see is one picture, not two.
I love it. I like that, honey. I didn't even think about it that way. That's exactly what it is when it comes to compromising. Another example is our home, our new home. We bought a home in Hartford. We lived in that home for 13 years. I got involved in politics and so many different things that even there we compromised with politics. But just to go back to the story about our home, I was ready to still continue in politics in Hartford, and Carla was like, honey, I want a new home. And so I said, if we get a new home, it has to be in Hartford because I'm still involved in politics. And we just could not find a home in Hartford that fit what we were looking
and that
for.
We're meeting our needs. And that brings me back to when I talked about one of the steps is communicate your needs and wants.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, that's
because we need, but but we also want, right? So sometimes what you need is the best thing than wanting.
Yes.
You know, oh, I want this. Oh, I want this pair of shoes. But do you really need it when you have like 10
Oops.
or 12 in your closet? Yeah, I'm guilty of that, right? So
She said it.
I'm guilty of that. But just communicating those wants and needs are so important, because then we came to a point that's like, okay, what do we need as a family? And what is that we want as a family, right?
So we needed more space. So that was like, okay, we need more space. And then as far as the wants, I was like, you know what? I want an office, because I have so many things for my political career that I just wanted an office. I wanted a space where I can also pray. And that's what it was. And Carla was like, well, I want a kitchen. I want an updated kitchen. I want something that I feel like, wow, this is a beautiful kitchen. And we found our home where it was outside of Hartford, but guess what? We compromised. We got to an art of compromising, like my wife says, and it's our home.
Yes.
You know, it's a place where we can say, you know what? We both didn't get, well, actually, I feel like we both got everything we wanted. And I think that's even the beauty of compromising, that there are moments you think you're giving something up, and when you see the final picture of that painting, you got everything you were looking for.
And you also start thinking, I was like, well, I wanted this, but I didn't realize with our communication and listening to each other, I actually needed this.
Yeah.
Right? So
true.
that's the beautiful thing about compromising and communicating with each other and listening to each other, because maybe your want was not really something you need, that you really needed. And that's what the art of compromising.
It's just a humble experience, you know. Again, it's natural of us to want to get what we want, see what we want. It's just, everything's about like me. Everything focuses on like me. And when it comes to marriage, you have to humble yourself. This is not about a competition on who wins what. This is truly about, what do we need together? How can we make this work? And once we make that decision, if it goes bad, we blame each other for it, not one blaming one. And if it goes good, we celebrate together. This is about togetherness. Let me tell you, compromising actually strengthens marriage.
Yes. Because
you learn to, like going back to that painting, you learn to just work together, unite, and after a while, it almost compromising is like second nature.
It is.
You make decisions together, and you don't even notice that you compromise.
Yes, you don't even. I don't hesitate. I'm going to talk to in my perspective. I don't hesitate when I need to talk about something and make a decision about something. I so quickly to even anyone is like, you know what, that sounds great, but I need to talk to my husband. It's just a second nature to me. It just comes as practice. I don't even have to think about it. Oh, I have to ask my husband. No, I have to really ask my husband. We need to come to this agreement, this decision together.
Yeah, and sometimes, the compromise is that the second person really doesn't get anything, right? Or vice versa. But it's really about, at the end, okay, we made a decision together to either give up a little bit of each other or do or not do. So that's really what compromising is all about. And we have to learn to, again, be humble about it and recognize that compromising is about sacrifices. And sacrifices hurt.
It is. And sometimes, because you think you have it all, oh, I want this, you really don't win. There's no winning unless that win comes together. You win together, you lose together. There's never that oneness of yourself doing, well, I think I lost this battle. No, you win your battle together or you lose your battle together. But it's never an individual thing, but it's a whole.
Yeah. Even in compromising, we're still talking about communication, which is one of our topics that we previously
in our last episode.
Yeah. So compromising is about communicating, sharing your needs, your wants, and also put into perspective the pros and cons of what can happen. So just be encouraged. You know, again, you can follow us on Facebook on I Take D Ministry. Then also on YouTube, we have a YouTube channel. Search for some of our topics like forgiveness, and so many other topics we have. If you have any questions, you can post them privately on our Facebook page, and we are more than happy to answer those questions privately. Or if you have a topic that you would like for us to bring on our show, please do so. This is really not about experts. This is just sharing our experience. So share, watch, and until next time, enjoy your day.